Tonight, thousands of angry teachers march for better pay, leaving classrooms empty and families in the lurch.
Melbourne service stations run dry as truckies warn higher fuel prices are pushing them to the brink.
The Premier on the nose with voters, her deputy again denying he wants to replace her.
The moment a passenger plane collided with a fire truck on a New York runway.
Cheaper cars and pasta. Australia signs a historic free trade deal with the European Union.
And tensions boil over at Arden Street. Two young roos trade blows at training.
This is Melbourne's 9 News with Alicia Loxley and Tom Steinfort.
Good evening. More than 40,000 teachers have walked off the job in their biggest strike in Victoria's history, marching through the city, closing hundreds of schools and forcing families to make alternative arrangements.
And there could be more pain to come, with the union vowing to escalate action if the government fails to offer better pay and conditions. Eliza Rugg reports.
Skipping school to take their pay fight to the streets. 40,000 Victorian public school teachers, principals and education support staff ready to teach a lesson.
So if we're the education state, we should be paid as such.
Hoping the Premier was listening.
We're recognised in our school, but not by the government for what we do.
Thousands gathered at Trades Hall to start the rally.
I'm a teacher and he's a student and it's not right.
Educators then stormed through the CBD, shutting down the city.
Thank you, teachers!
It's huge. It's bigger than I ever thought it would be.
Yeah, the conditions at the moment don't reflect the amount of work and stuff we put in, and yeah, we deserve more.
Teachers rejecting the government's offer of a 17% pay rise.
I thank our teachers. We remain at the negotiating table and I look forward to working through this with the union.
Public school staff want a 35% bump and better conditions for a job they love but describe as increasingly unsafe and with an unsustainable workload.
It's very difficult. We're trying to retain teachers, trying to keep experienced teachers. At the moment it's being ignored.
A sea of red headed up Bourke Street. Reaching the steps of State Parliament filled with anger.
When a teacher in New South Wales is going to earn $15,000 more in October, let alone what happens when they get their new deals, which they're due to get in the not too distant future.
The strike left school classrooms empty across Victoria. Some parents were caught out.
They thought that putting it in an app would be good enough, but they should have spread the word a bit more maybe.
With schools asking parents to keep children home unless they had no other choice. Mum of 6, Kylie, had her hands full in Melton South.
So teachers deserve to be paid properly, but it's disrupting the kids really.
While others in Derrimut made the most of a day off school.
Get all the energy out. And we have to go to quick run to Kmart.
While today's strike has caused major disruptions across the state, teachers here have warned there could be more industrial action to come if the state government does not put a better deal on the table.
They are deeply frustrated. They feel completely disrespected by the Allen Labor government.
OK, Eliza joins us now live. Eliza, what happens next if this bit of pay dispute is not resolved?
Alicia, I've been told that negotiations between the union and state government will continue tomorrow, but if that fails, the union has warned it will move towards what's called rolling stoppages, so different action taken at different schools depending on what region they're in. The union also hasn't warned out the possibility of further marches like we've seen today, so either way it would mean big impacts for schools and families once again. Alicia.
We'll see what happens from here. OK, Eliza Rugg, thank you.
The state government is blaming panic buying for service stations running dry. Edward Godfrey is in Fitzroy this evening. Ed, the Energy Minister, wants people to only purchase what they need.
She does, Tom. So outlets like this one here in Fitzroy can keep up with demand. The latest available data shows 180 outlets across Victoria are either without petrol or diesel. In the metro area, 53 stations have run out of petrol today, 49 in the regional areas. It's not much better for diesel, 41 metro stations running dry and 42 in the regions. Now, the state government says this is a demand problem right now. We've been hearing that for days and that there's enough supply to last until late April. As for price, the state opposition says there's more the government can be doing.
demand has increased anywhere between 300% and 400%. At the same time, we know that we have more than enough supply of fuels coming into the country.
Make that ask to provide the immediate cost of living relief by putting a temporary pause on the excise on a litre of petrol.
This as the nation's truckies warn if they don't pass on the costs of Donald Trump's war with Iran, their businesses will collapse. As Andrew Probyn reports, some transport companies say their fuel costs have surged 80% since last month.
Ray Carlton has been a truckie since 1972. He's driven more than 10 million kilometres, or to the moon and back 13 times. Normally unflappable, he's been shocked by the sudden cost of filling his B-double with diesel.
It used to cost about $2,800. Now it's cost me over $5,000.
An extra cost Ray passes on, in part, through a fuel levy paid by the clients for the company he drives for.
Everything from plumbing supplies to new furniture to groceries and clothing across the retail industry.
Long-haul owner-operators particularly stung by steep fuel increases.
That could be all your profit gone and more, so you start running in the red.
The round trip between Brisbane and Mackay is 1,993 kilometres, for which a B-double truck consumes about 1,000 litres of diesel. That cost $1,629 in February. Today it'll cost $2,950, a price differential of more than $1,300 or 81%.
A national emergency, and we need to act fast.
Many truckies on the hook for their fuel bill under contracts that predate the war in the Middle East, some of them not paid for up to 90 days.
Right now, it is absolute chaos on the ground, and I'm hearing from small to medium-sized companies that they are at absolute breaking point.
Our truckies deserve access to a fair go.
The government to remove the 6-month wait to renegotiate freight contracts, and diesel fuel standards will be lowered slightly to ease supply constraints.
A little more flexibility for refiners to switch between fuels as well.
But farmers are warning their costs, plus transport, will be a double whammy for shoppers.
It's a snowballing effect because it's costing us more to freight our commodities but also produce them.
The Fair Work Commission will tomorrow mediate talks between transport companies and industry to work out how best to handle rising fuel costs. But however they shake it, it'll be consumers who'll be paying. For at least as long as Donald Trump wages war on Iran, probably even longer. Andrew Probyn, 9 News.
Donald Trump has backed away from his threat to carry out strikes on Iran, declaring the US has held very strong talks. But as Lauren Tomasi reports, Tehran flatly denies any negotiations are underway.
The US president visiting the home of the king.
Who doesn't love Elvis? Everybody loves Elvis.
As Donald Trump declared it's now or never for Iran to make a deal, and the two sides are talking.
They called. I didn't call. They called. They want to make a deal. And we are very willing to make a deal. It's got to be a good deal.
But Iranian officials say
fake news.
That is fake news. No negotiations have been held with the US, said the Iranian parliament speaker, declaring it's a claim being used to manipulate the financial and oil markets. And the markets are responding. The potential off-ramp of war tonight offering some hope. Stocks have rallied, oil prices are down, and Donald Trump has declared the two sides will meet soon.
We'll see how that goes. And if it goes well, we're going to end up with settling this. Otherwise, we'll just keep bombing our little hearts out.
This is the most optimistic tone Donald Trump has struck when it comes to any sort of resolution to the conflict in Iran. But tonight, there's little clarity to the execution, with Washington and Tehran locked in a he said, he said.
They're going to have to get themselves better public relations people. We have had very, very strong talks. We'll see where they lead.
Negotiations or not, America's campaign rolls on. There's been more than 9,000 strikes on Iran since the war began. Today, Israel targeting Tehran in further wide-scale strikes against the regime. The state of the war and the question of where negotiations stand weighs heavy and unanswered. In Washington, D.C., Lauren Tomasi, 9 News.
Two men are now facing charges after a truckie was assaulted at a Scoresby service station on Sunday. They're accused of starting a verbal altercation with the driver before it escalated, and he bravely fought back. The offenders then fled along Eastlink. A 20-year-old Heathmont man and an 18-year-old Carrum Downs man were arrested in Heathmont yesterday and charged with assault and drugs charges. They were bailed to appear in court in June.
The Deputy Premier has again been forced to deny he wants the top job after another opinion poll suggested Jacinta Allen's popularity is at a new low. The opposition's ignoring the Labor leadership debate, instead returning to a campaign on crime. State political reporter Heidi Murphy.
Sent out alone to front media in Niddry.
Our message and my message is clear. I have got the job I want.
That's despite new approval ratings showing both he and another possible leadership contender on level pegging, both well ahead of Jacinta Allen but lagging Jess Wilson. Though on another measure in the same poll, the opposition leader and both ministers have work to do on name recognition.
I've been a loyal deputy for 2.5 years. I am focused every day on being the best education minister I can be.
The Coalition's focus is back on crime, this time in
Melbourne is the unsolved crime capital of Victoria.
Our police station is closed 16 hours a day.
I'm angry, the people of Melbourne are angry, and we need to fix this now.
I am fighting to end the crime crisis in this state.
The opposition leader fighting to do what her predecessors couldn't for voters.
In the past, not enough has been done to hold this government to account. But under my leadership, that has changed.
Ben Carroll says he genuinely believes Labor can win with a majority and under Jacinta Allen. He's refusing to get into any sort of discussion around how bad her numbers will have to get before that changes.
That's the opposition are the divided party.
Heidi Murphy, 9 News.
Survivors are sharing their stories after 2 pilots were killed when an Air Canada flight and a fire truck collided in New York. One woman was ejected from the aircraft while still strapped to her seat and was hurled 100 metres from the wreck. More from Hannah Sinclair.
Touchdown, turning deadly in seconds. Oh, God. The Air Canada plane coming in fast when a fire truck crossed onto its runway.
He landed and it kind of like jolted the plane, and then you just hear this huge boom. Every time I close my eyes, I hear the crash. I hear our screams. I hear the panic.
30-year-old Antoine Forrest, one of 2 pilots killed.
They are absolutely heroes in my book. They saved us and they weren't able to save themselves.
The light of day revealing the damage. The cockpit crushed. The fire truck a crumpled wreck on its side. 72 passengers and 4 crew were on board the flight that landed at LaGuardia Airport. 2 officers were inside the vehicle hit.
That 41 passengers and crew were transported to the hospital as well as the ARF officers.
Most have been discharged, but some are seriously injured.
That wasn't good to watch. Yeah, I know I was here. I tried to reach out to my staff, and we were dealing with an emergency earlier. I messed up. No, man, you did the best you could.
The vehicle was responding to another aircraft operated by United that had reported an issue with odor.
Flight attendant Solange Tremblay survived with a broken leg after being found by rescuers on the ground, still strapped to her seat. Her daughter revealing she was ejected more than 100 metres from the plane. Flights in and out of one of New York City's main airports grounded for much of the day, leaving travellers stranded as investigators, not planes, took to the runway.
They made a mistake. It's a dangerous business. That's terrible.
Hannah Sinclair, 9 News.
Australia and the European Union are describing a free trade agreement signed today as a once-in-a-generation event. Products from the continent, such as cars, will be cheaper and thousands of jobs will be created. But our farmers are sounding a warning about meat. Political editor Charles Croucher.
With the strike of a pan, Australian businesses get 500 million new customers.
a once-in-a-generation achievement that will create jobs and prosperity for generations to come.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen addressing a joint sitting of Parliament, the first foreign woman to do so.
Building our resilience is today's job. We in Europe have been reckoning with our dependencies.
The $10 billion deal will see 98% of Australian exports enter the EU duty-free, with new markets for manufactured and mineral goods. While European wine, spirits, olive oils and pasta will be cheaper here, big-ticket items like cars and farm machinery should see big drops in cost. There'll also be closer ties in defence, cybersecurity and countering radicalisation.
It opens access to a market of 27 countries and 450 million consumers.
Australian Feta, Prosecco, Parmesan, Kransky and Halloumi can keep those titles despite European objections, but our beef, lamb and goat meat producers say while limits on sales were raised, the cap is still too low.
How there's a level playing field or how it's free and fair is beyond us.
We're left asking, guys, where's the beef here? There's just nothing here, so why have we signed this deal?
We should be looking to deepen our ties here, not harking back to the 19th century and some Anglo-European past.
This visit and this deal have both been a long time coming, spurred on by Donald Trump's tariffs as America's old partners were forced to look for new partners.
This agreement sent a message as well to the world that it is possible to stick to the rules, to engage in a way that benefits both of our nations.
The deal now requires ratification here and in Brussels. Charles Croucher, 9 News.
The ABC will air reruns of Australian Story and Hard Quiz in place of its flagship news bulletin and 7:30 when more than 2,000 staff stage industrial action from 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. ABC Radio will be replaced by content from the BBC and pre-recorded programs during the 24-hour strike. Journalists at the broadcaster are demanding a yearly 5.5% pay rise.
OK, now here with a look ahead to Tuesday night sport, Tony Jones.
Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, Tom. Rarely has a round 3 match held so much importance, but that's the scenario for Essendon and North Melbourne on Saturday night. And at Arden Street today, the pressure boiled over. Here's Trent Neese.
Exactly right, Tony. Aren't the Roos boys feeling the heat after a disappointing loss to the Eagles on Sunday? Today, their star ruckman Tristan Scherri coming toe-to-toe with defender Charlie Comben in a heated exchange at a flush run this afternoon before assistant coach Michael Barlow and Finn O'Sullivan were forced to step in between the pair and break them up. Scherri lasted only a few more minutes out on the track before he called it a day and went inside looking visibly frustrated. Charlie Comben only yesterday was cleared of any wrongdoing for an incident with Harley Reid on the weekend. So, Tony, there must be something in the water at Arden Street as of late. We'll hear from Luke Davies-Uniacke later in sport.
All right, Trent Neese there. The Bombers, well, they haven't got off scot-free. Club great Tim Watson has delivered a brutal assessment as Zach Merritt is welcomed back by the leadership group. It's almost panic time at the Blues also, but these Carlton players don't think that's the case. A Shield final at the Junction Oval and Big Vic Scott Boland is beside himself. A 22-year-old, meanwhile, announces herself as our next batting hero, and how a baby boy is keeping our Soccceroos skipper focused. That's all coming up a little later on in sport.
See you then, Tony. Thank you. When Melbourne's 9 News returns, guns drawn as police take down a suspected shoplifter in Parkdale.
The Northern Suburbs real estate agent trying to keep her fraud case a secret.
The Albert Park sinkhole filled as an investigation into the cause continues.
And Granny Flat surge, the savvy investors cashing in on their own backyards.
Officers have drawn their guns while arresting an accused shop thief feared to have a firearm in Parkdale. Officers have drawn their guns while arresting an accused shop thief feared to have a firearm in Parkdale. The 50-year-old man knelt on the ground but refused to follow directions, so police produced tasers until he could be cuffed and searched. No firearm was found.
An unregulated doula has been ordered to give evidence into the death of a Seaford wellness influencer who suffered complications during a free birth. Stacey Warnocky gave birth at her home with Emily Lal, who called herself the authentic birth keeper. The 30-year-old new mum died after she was rushed to hospital with severe blood loss. A coroner today ordered a summons to be served on Ms Lal, noting her version of events is critical to the investigation.
A Greenvale real estate agent accused of stealing thousands from trust accounts is trying to keep details of the case secret. The 53-year-old was camera shy after her lawyer tried to argue mental health issues should close the court. Jack Ward has more.
From open homes to hiding behind her lawyer, former real estate agent Daniela Valla appears to have lost her confidence. Did you transfer those funds? The 53-year-old was Harrison Parker Real Estate's former principal agent. She's accused of moving client trust funds into a personal account on more than 60 occasions. Charge sheets reveal the amounts allegedly range between $500 and $5,000 per transfer and totalled more than $188,000 by the time she was charged 17 months ago. Are you frustrated with the delays in court? The case was pushed back so the defence could seek a mental health assessment as they try to limit media reporting. Today, the magistrate said there's nothing dramatic in the psychological report. Valla's lawyer replying, "That's a matter of perspective, Your Honour. There is material that is particularly tragic." Are you frustrated with the delays in court?
No comment, thanks.
Consumer Affairs Victoria also alleges her real estate agency failed to pay $36,000 of rental income to landlords, but charges against the business were dropped when it was deregistered. The defence has been given another 2 months to gain further advice, but with a warning. This case is not getting adjourned and adjourned and adjourned. It's not a situation where it's all going to go away. Why do you want the media banned from court? Jack Ward, 9 News.
A sinkhole causing traffic disruptions in Albert Park has now been filled in. The 1.5 metre deep hazard was discovered on Kerford Road near Dank Street around lunchtime yesterday and briefly expanded today before workers were able to fix it. It's hoped vehicles will be let through later tonight, while South East Water continues to investigate the cause underground.
All right, time to get a hit of the weather now with Scherri-Lee. Biggs and Sherry, today the first of a string of wet days ahead.
Well, right now, Tom, a line of storms is sitting to the north of Melbourne and a wave of showers is coming in from the west. Now, they started in the southwest of the state today, not measuring much in the gauges around, though. Most towns and suburbs reported less than 5 millimetres. Now, there is a severe thunderstorm warning current for heavy rainfall that may lead to flash flooding and possible hail in parts of the Gippsland districts and in the North Country as well. That should run over the next several hours. Now, showers and storms are still a chance this evening in Melbourne, with another round expected later tomorrow. But the heaviest falls will hit on Thursday and Friday, with another trough moving in, adding up to 50 millimetres to the gauge by the weekend. It will also bring a big chill with it, with snow possible on the Alps and an icy cold March day for us, guys. So I will have all those details coming up soon.
Look forward to that, Sherry. We'll see you shortly. After the break for you, drug mule claims. A grandfather says he was tricked into smuggling heroin into Australia.
Ambulances torched in an arson attack on a Jewish medical service.
Super Netball sent packing by Disney in a scheduling clash.
And a racing legend and his mini-me cheer up some brave little kids. A grandfather claims he was set up by scammers asked to bring a little gift to Australia, which turned out to be a heroin stash.
The 70-year-old says an email arrived out of the blue promising him millions of dollars, but instead he's found himself on trial. This report from Annalise Bolt.
Barry Calverley, fresh off the plane from Vietnam and straight into the sights of the Australian Federal Police.
You have imported heroin into the country, allegedly into Australia.
Allegedly, because I didn't know what was in the bag.
Arriving at Sydney Airport in January 2024 with this foldable camping bed packed in his luggage. Police discovered heroin stashed inside.
I wanted to catch them on this, perhaps set me up. stranded here.
The 70-year-old now on trial, accused of importing a commercial quantity of drugs. The court heard he'd been emailed by a Rene Lopez Jr. weeks earlier, who told him he was entitled to $12.5 million, messaging over WhatsApp when she asked him to fly to Laos to sign documents, saying an investor would pay for his flights and hotel, even sending travel money. When he arrived, Barry was asked to bring a little gift back to the so-called paymaster in Australia.
I said to him, I won't take anything illegal, cigarettes or alcohol or something small. He wanted that camping stretcher.
His defence team saying he was groomed and tricked into being an innocent drug mule, and he gullibly accepted this. Calverley told police he'd been scammed before, losing $250,000 and having to sell his house in Bunbury, WA. He said he thought this latest scheme was the scammers trying to pay him back.
I watched this on board security. Yeah, exactly this.
Annalise Bolt, 9 News.
An Iranian-aligned terror group is claiming responsibility for an arson attack on Jewish community ambulances in London. British police say they still need to authenticate that claim, but they are treating it as a hate crime. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has labelled the acts as deeply shocking and anti-Semitic. No arrests have been made.
Thousands of netball fans will be frozen out of this year's grand final because Rod Laver Arena has already been booked for a Disney on Ice show. The Super Netball grand final on July 4 will instead be moved to the smaller John Cain Arena, which seats around 5,000 fewer people.
A champion of the turf and his mini-me have paid a special visit to patients from the Royal Children's ahead of the Good Friday appeal. Also throwing his support behind the fundraiser, a top hoop who owes his life to the hospital. Isabel Quinlan has the story.
Living legends meeting brave little legends.
We're seeing the horses.
There were plenty of smiles and
talent
as patients from the Royal Children's Hospital met 8-time Group 1 winner Apache Cat and his mini-me, Apache Kitten, also known as Dougie.
These kids, some of them are here for a long time. They've got a lot going on, and just to see the brightness it brought to their day, it meant a lot for the kids but also for the parents as well.
It's a feeling Caulfield Cup winning jockey Harry Coffey knows all too well. He spent a fair bit of time at the Royal Children's after being diagnosed with cystic fibrosis at 6 weeks old.
Because of the great care that I received here, it's enabled me to stay well and healthy, probably allowed me to follow my dreams of being a jockey and going on and having some success.
Paying back for the support, the racing industry is cementing its commitment to the Good Friday appeal.
It's an association we're incredibly proud of and dates back a very long time actually.
Since 1931, to be exact.
Since the very first ever fundraising event was held, where I'm told there was quite a spiteful game of football held between the jockeys from Caulfield versus the jockeys from Flemington.
Raised £427 and 95 years later we're still partnering together.
The Victorian thoroughbred racing industry is certainly not horsing around when it comes to fundraising efforts this year, hoping to surpass $250,000.
Whether it's $5, $10, it all adds up and it makes a huge difference.
Isabel Quinlan, 9 News.
All right, still ahead in the news for you. A gold mine in your backyard. Savvy investors earning extra cash from granny flats.
Australian airports get together pushing to end paper passenger cards.
And crooks pluck a chicken trio from a Cheltenham school coup.
Australia's airport and tourism bosses are urging the federal government to modernise our borders by ripping up paper arrival cards in exchange for a digital system. The group argues the current arrival experience for travellers is outdated and falling behind the rest of the world. It'll take its case to government officials in Canberra tomorrow. Well, with affordable housing hard to come by, the popularity of granny flats is surging. Money editor Effie Zahos tells us while they can provide homeowners with extra income, there are some important catches.
Behind this 4-bedroom family home in Sydney, a $200,000 investment is hiding in plain sight.
Granny flats have come a long way since the garden shed.
Newlywed Andrea and her husband David renting from her parents who built it 3 years ago.
It's a great solution for them, affordable rent for us and future-proofing the property for them as well.
With just enough privacy.
There's the house, there's the granny flat.
NAB reporting a 20% surge in renovation loans as homeowners demand more from their backyards.
And of that, a significant amount to do with granny flats.
It's going to be able to capitalise on land that's already essentially shovel-ready.
Budget DIY kits can start under $30,000 from Bunnings. A custom, fully equipped granny flat like Andrea's costs around $200,000. Let's say you rent it out for $500 per week. That's $26,000 a year. After interest, insurance and fees, you're left with $7,500 in profit. The ATO takes a cut of that profit, but depreciation is your secret weapon. Everything from the aircon to the blinds is brand new. You get a massive $8,800 first year deduction. The paper loss effectively wipes out your tax bill. You're left with $154 in your pocket every week. And you can continue to claim every cent of that $200,000 construction cost over the next 40 years.
The rules do differ from state to state and from council to council, so it's important that you check with your local council first.
There's a major catch. Using a granny flat for commercial rent could trigger some capital gains tax when you sell the family home. And in Victoria, you could pay land tax too, so speak to an accountant to understand the implications.
What's it like having your parents as landlords? Very difficult.
They're not that far away. No. Effie Zahos, 9 News.
Well, financial markets rallied today on speculation the US and Iran may be on speaking terms. Chris Kohler has the details.
It may not be true, but as soon as Donald Trump said Tehran wants a deal and that he's been having productive conversations, the market took off. The ASX jumped 1.6% at the open, but Iran said there were no talks and it's all fake news. So the rally lost momentum. And our market finished the day only slightly higher. The price of oil plunged back below $100 a barrel, but it didn't stay there long. So it seems if there is any optimism to be had, traders will take it. Which is more than can be said for most Australians right now. Consumer sentiment data is at the lowest level since records began in 1973. And the Australian dollar is buying 69 US cents, 60 euro cents and 52 British pence.
Students, teachers and parents at a Cheltenham primary school are devastated after thieves stole their 3 fluffy chickens. As Ollie Haig reports, their food and water were also pinched.
This is ham, cheese and crackers. 3 silky chickens bird-napped in a bizarre school heist.
It's very I'm shocked and I don't know who would steal chickens.
Teachers and students at LePage Primary School in Cheltenham in tears after making the discovery this morning.
There were no feathers, no signs of any struggle. Just no chickens.
It has everyone in a flap. For the past 3 years, students have been helping raise them. The chooks have even taken on special roles. Ham dishes out the cuddles, cheese brings the energy, and crackers, well, she normally guards the coop.
We change their water and food. We pick up their droppings every day. We also collect their eggs, which is always fun to do. They're really cute to watch. Yeah. And they're fluffy.
What makes this particularly brazen is it wasn't just the chickens that were stolen, but also things like their food and water dispenser, indicating the thieves knew what they were after.
They're very valued in the school community. The kids are obsessed with them. Our whole school community loves these chooks.
The principal begging the cruel crooks who stole them for their safe return.
Bring them back in the middle of the night, I don't care. We've got children crying, we've got parents upset, teachers are upset. You had no right taking them. Please bring them back.
Ollie Haig, 9 News.
Oh, lift our spirits, Tony Jones.
That's what I'm here for. You think I'm here just to do sport? I am like the morale officer of this newsroom.
Are you?
Yep, it's good news. Good news for Channel 7, isn't it? Anyway, thanks, Tom. Alicia, all the attention is on Essendon and North Melbourne this week. And according to, speaking of 7, Tim Watson, it's not so elementary at his old club. Zach Merritt back in from the cold and back in the fold. The Blues ready themselves for another tough outing. The Demons this time. And Scott Boland, a cutout above the rest. Essendon legend Tim Watson has come out swinging, declaring his former club is now at ground zero. Such is the desperation at Bomberland. Zach Merritt, who wanted out at the end of last season, has now been re-embraced by the leadership group. Trent Neese reports on the Dons' day of drama.
After stepping down as captain and removing himself from the leadership group at the end of last year, it wasn't long until Zach Merritt's services were again requested.
He's a leader of this group. He's been a captain of this football club.
The 30-year-old invited to a leadership meeting this morning to help fix the disconnect at the club.
Zach's got so much experience. He's our most experienced, our eldest player. His insights would be lost if we didn't include him in a lot of these chats. You know, he's right in it amongst us. He's not shying away from everything. He knows he needs to improve as well in certain areas, as we all do.
It hasn't been a pretty start to 2026 for the Bombers. Not only is it back-to-back losses, but they've also conceded 278 points.
I think we do have a group that, when the pressure's on us, we might buckle a little bit. And I think we've seen that. We probably go away from what we want to do in offence and defence, and it's human nature, fight or survive, and we're probably in that survival instinct right now.
Club greats also unhappy with how things are being handled. Tim Watson this morning taking a shot at Brad Scott's decision to call out 20-year-old Nate Caddy in a post-match media conference.
To embarrass him maybe and humiliate him publicly too about, you know, how demoralising it was that he missed that goal. I just don't think that was a clever way to go about it. I think he threw a lot of the team under the bus. They are at ground zero, Essendon, in their rebuild right now.
If there was ever a reason for Bombers fans to be hopeful this weekend against the Roos, it may come from the fact that not since 2016 has Essendon lost to North Melbourne. As we showed you earlier in the news, the Kangaroos not happy with each other either as of late. Their own disappointing loss to West Coast still front of mind. Star midfielder Luke Davies-Uniacke knowing full well the pressure from both teams' supporter bases will be through the roof on Saturday night.
The history there is still strong and it makes your blood boil, you know, a bit before the game and you're ready to turn up. I'm sure they're going to want to turn up the heat as well because obviously they didn't play the game that they wanted to and neither did we. So I should expect a really fierce contest between both sides.
And further to the exclusive vision we showed you earlier in the news of Tristan Sherry and Charlie Comben going at each other at today's training session, while the players have responded. A short time ago, Tristan Sherry commented on an Instagram post saying, @Charlie Comben started it, with Comben replying, "I'm really angry with you." Nonetheless, TJ, I'm sure many North fans would be happy seeing a bit of fight in their players.
All's fair in love and war, and it looks like there's a lot of love there at Arden Street now. All right, good on you, Trent. Thanks for that. The only man under as much pressure as Brad Scott at the moment is Carlton's Michael Voss. But players say they have complete faith in their out-of-contract coach, despite a tough start to the season. Nat Yanides with more.
With so many fresh faces at the club, the Blues spent the early season bye getting to know each other a bit better.
It gave us a bit of time to actually go spend a bit more time away from football as well. So, you know, we're able to go, you know, have a dinner together.
Players will need to build those relationships and fast. A 63-point loss to Sydney and a 1-goal second half against Richmond, hardly enough to inspire the next generation.
There's definitely clear patterns between the first half and second half, and it shows that when we do our game plan the way that we should, it does stack up. We've got to do that in the second half.
But players have thrown their support behind out-of-contract coach Michael Voss.
For me personally, like I grew up going to Brisbane games. I went to the O2 Grand Final, so to me, you know, Vossi's a superstar. I look at him with, you know, a bit of light coming behind him when he talks. We just take it as, you know, we've got complete faith in him, complete trust. The game plan that he's put in place works. It's up to us to execute.
After starting the season with 2 Thursday night blockbusters, the Blues will return to the more family-friendly time of Sunday afternoon when they take on Melbourne here at the MCG. In the absence of Tom de Koning, Pittonet has stepped up as the #1 ruckman, a role he's relished.
I view myself as the #1 ruck in this league, and so coming back, just go, well, I'm just back to where I belong.
Ollie Holland's brother Elijah has also made the most of his opportunity, months after being delisted by the club.
Incredibly proud of what he's been able to do and get back to where he is. He put an amount of work into being able to get himself back to where he is.
Sunday's match will be Carlton's junior bagger game, where kids under 14 get in for free. Nat Yanides, 9 News.
Postman Scott Boland is ready to lead the charge when Victoria takes on South Australia in the Shield final starting at the Junction Oval on Thursday. The Vics have already banked 32 titles, the last coming in 2019. It might be more cardboard than bronze, but this Scott Boland image is sure to be a selfie favourite at the Junction Oval this week. The real deal will be out in the middle, hoping to continue the Vics' stunning form this summer.
To play the way we have for those 7 wins, I think we've been the best team in the comp. I think we've got match winners in every facet of the game, so I think we can go in pretty confident.
Having delivered that none too subtle message to his South Australian opponents, who've lost Travis Head to IPL duties, Boland has added motivation. There's a century to celebrate.
I've been a part of 6 Shield finals already, so to be in another one's really exciting, and to play my 100th game for Victoria is pretty special as well.
This final will be Boland's 11th red ball game of the summer, having been a regular in the Australian Test team, which dismantled England in the Ashes series. A fair workload for a bloke about to turn 37. But there is an upside to having a home Shield final.
It's always nice waking up in your own bed and you can come to the ground, sort of get here when you want instead of sleeping in a hotel room. So we've earned the right to have those comforts this week.
And while the South Australians will have to contend with Boland, fans have the chance to face Warney. Technology giving batters the opportunity to see the brilliance of Shane Warne firsthand. The activation will be open to the public in the indoor nets. And get this, it's free. How's that? And in the women's ranks, Georgia Voll has served notice that she'll be a real force with the bat. Against the West Indies, the 22-year-old belted 101 from just 53 balls to bring up her maiden T20 century.
Well, what a special moment for the 22-year-old from Toowoomba, Queensland. Her first ever T20 international century.
Australia won the rain-affected match by 40 runs to take out the series 3-0. Soccceroos skipper Matt Ryan has found new spark through fatherhood as the Aussies get stuck into World Cup preparations. The goalkeeper, confident being dad to 6-month-old Preston, has improved his mindset ahead of a friendly against Cameroon in Sydney.
I think it really helps in sort of recognising that there's all of a sudden something more important in the world than sport or other aspects of your life, you know, and it kind of almost takes the edge off a little bit.
The Soccceroos also play Curaçao at Amy Park next Tuesday night before heading to North America for the World Cup. Did you know that Curaçao is the smallest nation ever to compete? Did I say this last night?
In your 70 years in the industry, you've not said Curaçao once before.
And I've said it 2 nights in a row.
What's happening tomorrow night?
Sorry?
What's happening tomorrow night with Curaçao?
I don't know, but we'll run it again. Just keep on running it.
So good. Thanks, Tony. Sherri is back with more on the weather for us now. A wet second half of the week ahead.
Well, I hope you took my advice, Alicia, and made the most of this week's sunshine. Well, earlier this week at least, because we won't see much of it until the weekend, and you will need your winter woolies handy very soon. I'll have the full forecast coming up next. Hello again. Well, it is a damp evening out there. A wave of showers is making its way across Melbourne right now. Most of today was clouded over, looking a little dramatic at times, but that certainly didn't stop these jetty jumpers here at Safety Beach. It gave us a warm start though, that cloud cover. We managed a muggy top of 27 degrees in the early afternoon before that cool change came through, and right now it's hovering around 21. Now, it was warm across Melbourne. Geelong made it to 29 today with some light showers this afternoon. Werribee hit a top of 32 degrees and showers and storms were statewide, but that southerly change struggled to reach northern parts of the state. So Swan Hill and Mildura reached warm tops of 34 degrees. We are expecting another round of showers tomorrow with storms later in the day, but conditions will further deteriorate on Thursday and Friday as a pool of cold air pushes across the state. We could see nearly 50 millimetres land in Melbourne's gauge by Saturday, and expecting snow on the Alps Thursday night into Friday morning. Taking a look ahead around the country now, sunny in Sydney tomorrow, heading for a top of 28 degrees there. Brisbane a touch warmer but staying dry at 30 degrees, and Perth looking at a lovely 32. And across Victoria, still a warm and humid day ahead. Bendigo is forecast to reach 29. Showers and storms will be widespread. They could turn severe for eastern parts of the state. Possibly also eastern parts of Melbourne as well. We're expecting to see up to 15 millimetres from Yarra Glen right down to Ferny Creek, but in Geelong, showers are likely to kick in again from morning, but look to be heaviest around lunchtime to late afternoon with possible storms, expecting 5 millimetres at most and a top of 28 degrees. It'll be a damp start in Melbourne, but storms are more likely for the afternoon and evening as well. It could send a further 10 millimetres millimetres this way. Still a warmer 27 degrees. Heading for just 18 degrees on Thursday. Feeling cooler at the time as well. And a very wet second half to the day, possibly adding up to 20 millimetres of rain. It will be very chilly overnight into Friday, down to 10 degrees. A top of 16 will feel closer to 9, but showers only easing on Saturday. It's not all grey and gloomy though. There's a little glimmer next week with a sunny top of 28 degrees. So the back end of tomorrow is where we'll see the most action in terms of rainfall and storm activity, as well as that cool change which should move through overnight. And guys, I'm not sure I'm ready for it.
Well, there's something for everyone in that forecast.
Is that okay if I'm honest? Always.
Thank you, Sherri. That is 9 News this Tuesday. Ali is up next with the current affair.
We hope you have a great evening. For now, good night.